Hello and welcome to another live English class. I'm Christian and this is Canguro English. If you are not connected with me on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, then don't forget to check out the Facebook group because it's a place you can express yourself and upload videos and meet people who want to practice English from all over the world. And my Instagram is lit, check it out. and also I just want to say that this video is made possible by all of my sponsors on Patreon. So if you have the money and you want to sponsor free education, then check out the link below in the description box. Hello to all of the beautiful students that we have today in this class. We have Venchi, my favorite Russian gangsters, #1. Hello, Venchi. Eduardo's here, Vikas, Sharma, Patricia from France, Rima, Mohammed, Mangur is back, Lenny Escobar in Brazil. Mr. Music Producer is here as well, Felipe Jose, Jorge Miranda, Andrea Diaz, Diego Leon, Rima Karwi, Onel Sada, Daniel Isho, and Wasim Muhammad, Tati Sul, Sunil Kumar, Gennaro Capocota, Tomislav, Nguyen Adam, Marco in Rome, Mohammed Abbas, Haifa Motza, and Elena Gorbunova. So Nguyen Adam is in Melbourne. Hello to Australia. Rodolfo from Chile and Timon. Okay, so and Christian is here. Best name ever. And of course we have Anya from Siberia. It must be so cold in Siberia. I just expect that it's cold. Okay, let's do some vocabulary. Okay, we're gonna start with a little bit of vocabulary to warm up. Okay. So first one, tell me 3 things that make you scream. 3 things that make you scream. Tell me. For me, one would be when I look at my bank account. Another one would be when my wife is driving because she's a terrible driver. And the third thing, she's going to kill me for saying that. And the third thing would be, makes me scream. I don't know. Yeah, falling. I don't like falling. Okay, so Diana says Snickers, but I think she means snakes. Gennaro says snails. Interesting, snails. Mangur says the dark. Okay, the dark. Disorder. So Francesco, you are a person who needs and likes order. I understand. Julio says thief. Christian says ghosts. Patricia says a dog spider. Oh no, 2 things. Oh, so Patricia, you don't like dogs. And Vikas says the same thing. He doesn't like spiders and dogs. Wow. Andreas Yaputra says an empty wallet. Yep, and that makes me scream. It's a terrible thing. Lenny says only a flying cockroach. I remember once I was living in a very hot and humid country. It was really tropical. And I was in bed sleeping and I heard a sound like a strange flapping sound. And so I got out of bed and I went into the bathroom and I opened the bathroom door and there were like 10 flying cockroaches flying around, like this big tropical flying cockroaches. It was horrific. It was horrific. So then she says that he screams when he sees his neighbor's wife, when he sees his boss, and when he sees somebody has parked their car in front of his house. Why your neighbor's wife? Hello, Hamoda. How are you? Hi, Jenny Lascar. What's up? Okay, let's have a look. What about this one? Things that you might find in a junk drawer. In everybody in their house has a junk drawer. A drawer, okay, a drawer that is full of junk. Things that you don't need, things that you know. For example, normally you have some batteries, maybe some old money from a holiday from 10 years ago. Yes, exactly. Onel, pens and strings and tape. Hamoda, again, pens. Anya says old telephones. It's true, actually. I have a bag full of old telephones. Java says paper. Paper. And clips as well. Yeah. Nadeska says clips. Aaron says discs. Yeah. Mangur says children's toys. And Nadeska CDs. Yeah, it's true. I can't remember the last time that I actually used a physical CD. Because now I have Spotify on my telephone and it's perfect. Gennaro says adults' toys. Adults' toys. I think you mean like PlayStations and things like this, right? This is adults' toys. Hello, Freddy Del Rus, and welcome to your first class. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, so at the moment, there are a lot of fires here in Galicia where I live, and also in Portugal, which is very close. The border of Portugal is only 1 hour away, and unfortunately, a lot of people have been killed in the fires in Portugal. Only 2 people have been killed here, but many more in Portugal, and yeah, it's terrible. And the worst thing is that a majority of the fires are deliberately lit. In English, this is called arson. Arson is the act of deliberately lighting a fire, and the person who does this is called an arsonist. And yeah, it's terrible because honestly, I don't know why you would start a fire. It's crazy. It's strange. I don't know. Some people are addicted to fire. The informal name for them is a firebug. A firebug is a person who is addicted to fires, to lighting fires, and maybe it's like a caveman thing, you know? The caveman wants to make a fire. I don't know. Yes, I agree, David Sabuk. We should not call them arsonists. We should call them another word that starts with us. Okay, let's have a look. I'm trying to find something which could be funny. Okay, what about this? What about this one? Tell me, guys. 3 ways to relax at home. How to relax? I don't normally relax a lot. I like to watch some films in the evening, maybe. Cooking relaxes me a lot. And playing with Luca is the best. playing with my son. Although relaxing, well. And Andrea says laying down. Anya says doing homework is relaxing? Really? Really? Taking a nap. Patricia, that is very... I know that you're French, but that's very Spanish to take a nap. Yeah, being in bed, taking a bath. Yeah, that's super relaxing. Taking a siesta. Reading a book. Reading a book is relaxing, it's true. She says, caressing the cat fur. Caressing the cat fur. And then the cat can purr. In English we say that the cat purrs. Purr. But my favorite word for this is in Spanish. A cat, this is the word. Well, this is the verb to ronronear. Actually, I'm not sure if it's double R or single R. Ronronear. What a great... It sounds great because you have to roll your tongue like when the cat goes prrrr. So Lenny says she likes to drink some wine and watch a series. Yeah, this is actually a great way to relax. So if you binge and purge, okay? So binge is when you take in a lot of something. Like Homer Simpson, when Homer Simpson eats, he binges. Okay? And then you purge. So it's like to take in a lot is to binge, and to purge is to evacuate, to release. And you can use this literally, like you can binge on food and purge on food. Or you can use it with people. Like there's a television series called The Purge. You can purge the people. And you can also do this with television series. Lenny, for example, you can binge watch. Binge watch is when you watch like 10 episodes of a series in one day. A bottle of, as Jorge Miranda says, a bottle of Chilean Malbec, a good strong Malbec, like 14 or 15%. Binge watch a series, perfect. Mr. Pokemon, hello from, you're Polish. Yes, I do speak a little bit of Spanish because I live in Spain. Okay, so there you go. Ronronear only has one R, not two. See my Spanish spelling? Bad. Okay. So last week I started to teach some techniques for improving your writing, but I didn't finish because I was talking too much. Talking. My mum always says that I talk too much. So today I'm going to definitely talk to you about techniques for writing. But before I do that, does anybody have any grammar questions or vocabulary questions for me? And I will answer them for you. Somebody asked, why do we have phrasal verbs in English? Why do they exist? Well, the reason that they exist is because of the way that English changed. Okay, so English now is subject, verb, and object, but it wasn't always like that. Okay, Old English was actually object first. Okay, So, for example, you would say, so in Old English you would say, the dog I walked. It was object, subject, and then verb. Okay? Now, if you imagine, where do you put the preposition in a sentence like this? For example, if you said, the bridge I walked on. The bridge I walked on. So we had the preposition, at the end in this situation, right? Okay, but then we had verbs that were together. Like, for example, let's look at an Old English verb. Okay, so the bridge I wheat gang. No. I'm going to change the sentence slightly. The people wheat gang. Okay, so this here we have. I'm such an idiot. I'm going to put it in the old English form, okay? For example, so here's our verb, okay? And here is our subject, okay? So we had verb, and then we had the subject after. Okay, this is in Old English. Okay, I'm using a sentence without an object to make it more simple. Exactly. So weekgan is to go out. To go out the people. And basically as English, as the order of English words started to move around, also these two parts of the verbs also started to separate, and they would also move around. So you could say wheat gang the people, or you could say wheat the people gang, or you could say gang the people wheat. Everything was moving around. It was a period of great change. And then eventually with time, the people decided that it would be subject, verb, object, and that the verb would be in two parts like this. In two parts. But if you have seen my classes about phrasal verbs, then you know that they do have a type of logic. It's not just crazy randomness. And today I finished editing my class about got, and also this talks about phrasal verbs because there's lots of phrasal verbs with get. So okay, let me talk about let me look at some more questions here. Okay, so I have a question here this is a simple one from Andrea. Okay. So this is here. And if we are moving away from here, in this direction, then we go. But if we are coming in this direction, then we come. Okay? So coming is in this direction and go is in this direction. Now, a lot of students have problems with this when they're telling a story, because the story has to adapt to this idea. Let me give you an example, okay? So here is this school, my school, okay? Now imagine I'm telling you a story about a student who came to the school. I could say, Maria Maria came to the school yesterday, because I'm telling you the story now, and now I am at the school. But imagine if I am in the restaurant in town, okay? I'm in the restaurant town. Here is not the school, here is the restaurant. So I have to change the sentence. I have to say, Maria went to the school yesterday. And a lot of students forget to change the verb when they are in a different place. Okay? So something to think about, the difference between go and come when you're telling a story. Important. Okay. Patricia, great question. Great question. Okay, what's the difference between recall, remind, and remember? Really good question, because in a lot of European languages, they can be the same thing. So, the first thing is remind and remember. Remember is an internal process. Okay, so it's my brain working to remember something, okay? But remind is actually something external. So, for example, this object, which is external to me, can remind me of a class, or the color can remind me of a holiday. So this external device reminds me, and then internally I remember. Now, recall is very similar to this one, to remember. It's an internal process, okay? But the difference is that when you remember something, okay, it's complete. Your action is complete. You remember it. Okay? But recall talks more specifically about the process of trying to remember something. And also it's very much more formal. Like, I think recall would be for formal conversations, for formal presentations and situations. It sounds very posh. I recall, or I don't recall. This is something that politicians say a lot. For, if you ask a politician, did you take 200,000 euros in cash from that man? I don't recall. Okay. Okay. So, Kati Svabi wants to know about the difference between two phrasal verbs. So, set off and set up. And this is just a clear example of how important the particles are. Okay? So we can think that set means to like establish, to begin something. Okay? The verb doesn't change. The verb means to begin something, to set it. Okay? So then we have up and we have off. Up, we know, can mean to create something, to build, right? To build. So set up can mean to create like a business. You can set up a business. You're building the business. Or if you go camping, you have to set up your tent. Okay, you have to mount the tent. You're building something. And set off is different because we know that off means we lose contact. Okay, lose contact. So we are beginning to lose contact. It means that we start a journey, or we start traveling, we start holidays, we set off. We are leaving this place. Or again, beginning to lose contact, you can use set off like a bomb. A bomb, for example, is if you activate the bomb, then you begin the process of the bomb exploding. It's going off. Okay? Okay. I hope that explains for you. Okay, Venchi. Great question. Great question. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the difference. So, okay, Venchi wants to know what's the difference between saying, weren't you supposed to do something, or didn't you have to do something? And so we have two different verbs, right? We have the verb to be supposed to, or we have the verb have to. And both of those verbs indicate a type of obligation. Okay? But one of them is stronger than the other one. Okay? Have to does, I would say, indicate a more strong obligation. Okay? It's something that you must do. But supposed to, when I suppose that you have to do something, it's softer. It's almost more like an advice. It's more like should. So I would say that there's a little difference in tone. You know, this one is much more strong. Didn't you have to? And this one is more soft. Weren't you supposed to feed the dog and now the dog is dead? You killed the dog? Something like this. Okay, oops. Oh no, sorry. Okay, so there's a really good question here from Lena John, who wants to know what's the difference between realized with an S and realized with a Z. So the difference is that the first one is the British spelling, and the second one is the American spelling. Also, with S, is preferred, is used in Australia and New Zealand and South Africa. So, and also, well, actually, I'm not sure about Canada, to be honest. I suspect that Canada uses the same as the United States. So why? Why do we have an S in Britain and a Z in America? Well, it's an incredible story, actually, okay? There was this guy, and he was really, really wealthy. He was a multimillionaire back in the early 20th century, okay? Now, he wanted to simplify English spelling. He said that English spelling was too complicated. And he created this organization called the SSB, the Simplified Spelling Board. And he wanted to change English spelling, to reform English spelling. And he raised millions of dollars to do this. And the equivalent in today's money is hundreds of millions of dollars. And he spent many, many years, more than 20 years, trying to simplify English spelling. Okay? And after spending millions of dollars, after spending a majority of his life trying to simplify English spelling, this was basically the result. Well, one of the results. For example, also in American English, you have, in British English, you have colour with a U, and in American English, you have colour without the U. Tiny things. And I think it's just an example of how no matter how much money you have, no matter how much influence you think you have, language is always decided by the people. And that's the great thing. That's the true democracy of language, is that, the people decide, like, in Canada, in Quebec, they tried to force people to use the French words for things, like grilled cheese. It was meant to be sandwich or fromage. I can't remember the word in French. Something about fromage. What's the word? Oh, man, I can't remember. Melted cheese. And the French Quebecians said no. We're going to use the English word grilled cheese. Language is decided by the people. Beautiful thing. Okay. So, Esan Esani wants to know how to improve listening and speaking skills. There's no secret, Esan. There is absolutely no secret. It's exactly the same as playing a musical instrument, okay? If you want to be good at playing the piano, you don't open a book and study. You sit down in front of the piano and you start playing and you improve, okay? You have a little bit of time studying, but 90% of your time is playing and listening and playing. And it's the same with language, okay? Language is that type of skill. It's not engineering. It's not mathematics. So how to improve your listening and speaking is to listen and to speak. And, nobody can teach you listening. I can't teach you to listen. It's just something that you get from practice. So you don't need any fancy courses. You don't need a great teacher. You just need to invest your time. That's it. Which is great, right? Which is totally liberating. I'm super happy that you got your garage fixed today, Golden Ridge. Super happy. Tum Ke Kwan wants to know, and I'm not sure if I pronounced your name correctly. I'm not sure, I'm sorry. Could be Tum Ke Kwan or something complete. Anyway, why are modal verbs so special? Modal verbs are special because they are like beautiful butterflies. No. Modal verbs are special because there's very limited quantity. There's only about 10 that we use in English regularly. Only 10 in total. And they're special because you can only use them with another verb. You cannot use them on their own. You cannot say, I should pizza. No, it's not possible. They need another verb to make sense. And we use them to indicate the probability or the necessity or some other characteristic of the verb that comes after. They basically help us to understand the verb. And it's a beautiful system. It's very elegant. I should go, I should eat. In this case, should indicates strong advice. Strong advice. And so that's why they're special. And they're special because they have no conjugations. You cannot use them conjugated in the past. You cannot say shoulded. You can't use them in the future, will, should. So that's some of the reasons why they're special. I made a class about modal verbs. You should check it out on my channel. So Fanindra wants to know if there are so many ways to write a different sentence by changing the order of the words, then are they different? Well, I think the answer is yes, and also no. I mean, okay, so here are 3 different sentences with some possible different orders. Okay, like, I want to eat pizza. You could say, pizza is what I want to eat. Eating pizza is what I want. And if we look at, in a very general way, the meaning is the same. We have, this person, the subject, the person, and then we have a verb, the verb, and then we have the thing and that you want to eat, and they're all related. Okay, they're all related. It means the same thing, but there's nuance, right? There's little subtle differences. And I think in English, because English word order is more strict than in some languages. Like in German, in Spanish, it's very flexible. In Arabic even. In Arabic you can put the words in whatever order you want, basically, more or less. But English is much more strict. So when you change the order of the words, yes, it can change the meaning. And the main thing is fronting. Okay? Fronting. As a general rule, when you put something at the beginning of a sentence, it's more important. Okay, so here we're saying the most important thing is the wanting. Here, you're emphasizing the pizza, and here, you're emphasizing that you need to eat. So this, in general, the fronting idea, gives you that little little subtle difference. So semantically, I would say it's the same, but yes, you have an opportunity to add nuance. Thanks. You know, I don't really think that I look like Billy Zane, but then again, I'm not sure. Maybe I do. I hope that Billy Zane is considered to be a good-looking guy, like me. Hello, Esther from Barcelona. You're on holiday in Korea. Wow, cool. How is Korea? South Korea, I hope. Are you in Seoul? Where are you? Tell me, how is it? Okay, so Felipe has a question about another phrasal verb. Okay. Which is to bring about and bring on. So again, you know, bring, we have this idea of something coming, right? Something coming. And then we have these two prepositions, about and on. So we know that about is to talk about movement, especially in a circular shape. And so when you think about bringing about, then you see we have this idea of a circular process. Okay? So you can bring about change, is an example. And so we have the idea that it's not a simple, linear, we go from A to B. Here is before the change and here is after the change. No, we have the idea that the change happens like this, in a circular motion. Maybe this means that the change is slower because it goes round. Or maybe the change happens in different places. Okay? Or maybe it involves different people in different countries. Okay, so we have this idea of involving a wider group. But bring on, we know that on is contact. Okay? On is contact. So you can bring on a challenge, for example. Bring on a challenge. I'm saying, come here. Come onto me, challenge. I want to make contact with you. I want to attack this challenge. So again, our particles really help us to understand why. Okay, so Jefferson de Matos wants to know about the word bid. Great word. Bid is strongly related to the idea of an auction. Okay? An auction is when you go to a place and they are selling things, okay? And you have a number, you have a card with a number, and they say, the man at the front, the auctioneer says, okay, who wants to buy this beautiful crab? Who wants to pay $10? And somebody goes, I'll pay $10. And then another person says, okay, who wants to pay $20? And says, I'll pay $20. Okay? And this action of saying yes, of trying to buy something is a bid. Okay? A bid for $10, a bid for $20, okay? It's like a try. You are trying to buy the thing. And so also you can bid to do something. Like, for example, you can bid for adventure. You can try to do an adventure. You can bid for to win the Olympic Games. You bid for the games. You're basically trying to do something or trying to achieve something. And also it's an insult. It's also an insult, a bid. Because I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's a word for like some type of animal, like an old animal. Like an old sheep or an old cow. I'm not sure, I have to look it up. Okay. Okay, let's have a look. I'm looking at you guys are really funny. Recorded. Phrasal verbs for Halloween. Wow, phrasal verbs for Halloween. That's a difficult one. I don't know. Okay, what about this one? To scare off. Now we know that off means you lose contact. So I scare you, and you off. Scare off, no contact, right? Or if you're very, very, very scared, then maybe I scare the pants off you, which means that you're so scared that your pants disappear. This is quite a common expression in English. You could say, I looked at my bank account and it scared the pants off me. So there's a phrasal verb for Halloween. Okay, Ricardo. Another explanation of a phrasal verb, to settle down. Settle. Great verb. This verb exists independently. To settle is like to relax. Literally, it's to, you know when, okay, before a dog goes to sleep, it turns around and then it settles. This is settling, the movement of relaxing in a place. And so settling down, okay, we have the idea of something reducing. It could be, I think, when I think about it, it's the idea of all of the activity. You know, when you move to a new place, imagine you move from New York to Paris, and you arrive in Paris, and everything is chaos. You need to unpack all of your clothes and, rent an apartment. It's chaos, lots of activity. And then, after a few months, things settle down. The chaos, the stress reduces, and you relax into your new house. Or if you work in a restaurant and it's very busy, there's lots of customers, but then after lunch at 4 o'clock, it settles down. The activity reduces. So again, our particle tells us everything. So important. Okay. Okay, let's have a look. I'm just I'm going to jump to the end of the comments. Okay, now, I've been talking a lot, so now it's your turn. I want you guys to do some work. Okay, so I'm going to teach you quickly in the next 10 minutes some techniques to improve your writing. Okay? So, the first technique is called Zeugma. I have only my tiny little piece of chalk, okay? Zeugma is a Greek word because the Greeks were really fond of rhetoric, okay? And basically what we do is we use one verb in a sentence to control other verbs. And it's a really great technique to create a poetic effect. For example, this one, I say, I opened the door and my heart. So this verb, open, is controlling two things in the sentence. Okay, the door and the heart. So I'm opening the door and opening the heart. This technique is really literary and poetic. So, your turn now. I want you to give me a sentence with the verb eat. Give me a sentence with Zeugma with eat. So eat will control multiple things. Okay? Multiple things. Not one noun, multiple nouns. Okay, kidnap. Erica Lopez, I think you're Spanish. Kidnap is secuestrar. When you take somebody, okay? Great. Okay, so Garcia says, I eat the soup and the frog in the morning. Very nice, Garcia. Very nice. Okay, Veselin. This is another one. We eat food and bad news. Great. Zeugma is really effective if you have one thing which is literal and another thing which is abstract. And that's why the example here from who was it? Who was it? From Veselin Karanovic is so good. You eat. What did he say? You eat the food. That's literally, and then you eat bad news. Fantastic, great example. Guillermo says he opened the door of his heart, but it was occupied. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so Maela, I love this one too. I eat a pizza and an excellent book. Great, so literally you eat the pizza and also you eat the book. I love that. Excellent. Okay, so Eric, Freddie Del Rue says we've eaten there and here. This isn't really an example of Zeugma. That's just here and there is called a binomial. I made a class about binomials. It was a cool class. You should check it out. Binomials rock. I like your examples, guys. Okay. Chalk. Okay. So Francesco says, I eat pasta and fantastic study. Wow. Okay. Another technique is to use anaphora or epistrophe. Okay. Anaphora is when we repeat a word or some words at the beginning of multiple sentences. An epistrophe is when we repeat a word or multiple words at the end of a sentence to create a dramatic effect. For example, For example, if I'm writing a story about my mum, okay, I can actually use this repetition to just hammer the idea that I'm talking about my mum. My mum is the best. My mum is smart. My mum is nice. Okay? And this repetition creates a great effect. Politicians love to use anaphora and epistrophe. Okay? If you listen to any politician speak, you know, the people have demanded change. The people have voted for this reform, and the people will get what they want. It's, you know, or at the end, you know, this was decided by the people, for the people, with the will of the people. That sort of repetition, just if you're writing in an exam, try some of these techniques. In exams, they're really powerful. Okay, so now I want you to give me an example of anaphora or epistrophe with dogs and cats. So you have to write multiple sentences that begin or end with dogs and cats. We're going to talk about dogs and cats because we love dogs and cats. They're the best. Or pigs, if you want. You can talk about pigs. I'm very glad, Guillermo. It's great to have you in this class. It's not necessary to mention politics in this when you use this technique. Okay, Mayella, I love this. Learning English is good. Learning English is easy. Learning English is powerful. Great example of an anaphora. So normally, dogs and cats are animals. Dogs and cats are cute. Dogs and cats are raining from the sky. Because this is a common expression in English. It's raining cats and dogs, which means it rains a lot. Okay, their friendship is like the dogs and cats' friendship. The dogs and cats are pets. The dogs and cats are uncles. Let dogs and cats live free. Give dogs and cats freedom. Give dogs and cats a piece of milk. Great, Gosia. I love that. Dogs and cats are small and big brothers. Great, Ehsan. Great. Okay. Now, the final technique, because we only have 60 seconds. The final technique is, I think, the most... Shush. He says, Shush says, make dogs and cats great again. And yes, piove forte. That's exactly right, raining dogs and cats. Yeah, the final technique is this one, okay? Which is anadiplosis. Anadiplosis is when we... I love you too, Claudia. Anadiplosis is when we use the final word of the previous sentence to start the new sentence. For example... Chalk. What a system. What a system. Huh? No wonder we got rid of blackboards. Okay, for example, I just invented this beautiful anadiplosis. English is powerful. Powerful enough to change lives. Lives that matter. You see, the final word is the next word of the sentence. Lives and lives, okay? So, give me an example of some anadiplosis. You can invent whatever anadiplosis you want. And this also has it's just a poetic feeling. I love it. I love it. I can't wait to read your anadiplosis. Sounds a bit like a dinosaur, no? Is it a Tyrannosaurus Rex? Is it a Stegosaurus? No, it's an anadiplosis. Okay, ooh, Mayella, very nice. It is hard to find love. Love is what we need. Fantastic, nailed it, Mayella. Golden Rich wants to know where the animals are. It's a deep question. Christian is a great English teacher. Teacher is the center of attention in the class. Great, Krishna. Great example. Or Jasic is combined to dogs and cats are friends. Friends we need. Excellent. Freddie Del Rus, the food is so important. Important is to eat when you feel hungry. Hungry is not a good feeling. Excellent. Really good. Patricia says, my boyfriend is rich, and rich means a good life, and life is short. Yes, that's a great one. That's a great one. So they were beautiful examples, guys. So you should try some of these techniques to improve your writing. And finally, Lucia says, sons are our angels to change our life. Well, so unfortunately it is 2:00 and now I have to go. There's lots of classes this afternoon, and this afternoon I'm going to finish editing my class about get. Great verb, get. Really interesting verb. And yeah, so you can watch that this week. Don't forget to catch me on Facebook in the Facebook group. There's lots of activity. You can practice your English in the Facebook group. Instagram. My Instagram is lit. Twitter. And if you want to support free education, you can sponsor me on Patreon. All of the relevant, important links are down in the description box. Anyway, I have to go. It's been a pleasure talking to you all. Thank you all for watching. You are the best students ever. I'm Christian. This is Canguro English. And I'll see you in class. Bye.